So two major altercations just broke out in the Capitol building as MAGA Republicans are getting so desperate, they're trying to pull these public stunts of like getting in the faces of Democratic lawmakers, and the Democratic lawmakers are not taking it and they're fighting back. We have it caught on camera, folks. So the first altercation involved MAGA Republican Congressmember Mike Lawler from New York. He brought the press with him and he was going to confront Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries to Jeffries' face. But Leader Jeffries was ready. Jeffries comes out of his office, gets into Lawler's face, and just utterly exposes Lawler and shows how weak and pathetic Lawler and these MAGA Republicans are. Lawler's like, "Can you sign this?" And Jeffries is like, "You are there just to support the billionaires. You're ripping away people's health care. People are going to die in your district." This was a powerful moment. I think this was Hakeem Jeffries' moment. Watch for yourself. I'm going to play you this shorter clip of what went down first. Let's play it.
You're not going to talk. You're not going to talk to me. You're not going to talk to me and talk over me because you don't want to hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm listening.
So why don't you just keep your mouth shut?
Oh,
because you showed up.
Is that the way to talk?
You showed up.
Yeah.
And so you voted for this one big
I
ugly
signed on
bill.
to this. You can extend it right now.
A permanent extension of massive tax breaks for your billionaire donors.
So 90% of Americans.
So they can get a permanent extension.
90% of Americans take the standard deduction.
Then the other altercation involved MAGA Mike Johnson trying to interrupt a press briefing that was being conducted by the Arizona senators, Senator Gallego and Senator Kelly, who were calling for Adelita Grijalva, the representative-elect, the congresswoman-elect from Arizona's 7th Congressional District, to be sworn in. And then you'll see MAGA Mike just like shows up and it's like, I'm here, everybody. I'm here. Maybe you just got to open up the government. No, it's the Trump and Republican government shutdown. And I loved how Senator Gallego and Senator Kelly also got in MAGA Mike's face and said, this is about your cover-up of the Epstein files. This is strength. This is how it's done. Here, play this clip.
Ms. Grijalva, Rep-elect Grijalva, has not yet had a scheduled day because she was elected after the House was out of session. So I am anxious to administer the oath to her. As soon as you guys vote to open the government.
You don't want to be on the Epstein discharge. How much?
It's totally absurd. You guys are experts at red herrings and distraction. No, there's nothing to do with Epstein. The House Oversight Committee is working on the Epstein files right now, releasing 34,000 pages and more on the way.
No, she's
Let me finish. The House Oversight Committee.
Excuses. This is an excuse, so she doesn't sign on to that.
Now let me show you the longer interaction of what went down when you had Mike Lawler, the MAGA Republican Congress member from New York, try to approach Leader Jeffries in this publicity stunt. Leader Jeffries walks out of the office drawing, gets right up in Lawler's face, looks at him and says, "You realize how pathetic you are? How pathetic you come in here and you're saying lies?" Watch this powerful moment right here. Let's play this clip.
Yeah,
we sign on right now?
Let me ask you a question. Did you get permission from your boss?
Why don't we sign on right now?
Did your boss, Donald Trump?
Easily extend
Did your
the
boss, Donald Trump, give you permission? Yes, he is.
No, he's not. By the way,
so let me ask you a
why
question.
did you vote to shut the government down? Why did you vote to shut it down?
Let me ask you a question.
For years, you always lecture about how we need to keep the government open.
You're making a show of this to make yourself relevant.
It's sad. You could easily sign on to this.
You're embarrassing yourself right now.
You could sign on to this. The only
You're chasing clout. You're an embarrassment.
You could sign on to the bill.
Let me ask you a question.
You have 4 Democrats on here.
Let me ask you a question.
It's a clean extension for 1 year.
You voted for the one big ugly bill, correct?
I voted for a tax cut bill that gave the largest tax cut to Americans in history, including, by the way, the average New Yorker getting a $4,000 tax cut. Are you against that?
You're embarrassing yourself right now.
You want to cut the standard deduction in
the
gas?
largest cut to Medicaid in American history. You voted for that.
Fraud and abuse, by the way.
You voted
Tom DiNapoli, the Democratic controller of New York.
Let me ask you a question.
Pointed out that $1.2 billion were wasted.
Listen, you're not going to talk. You're not going to talk to me. You're not going to talk to me and talk over me because you don't want to hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm listening.
So why don't you just keep your mouth shut?
Oh,
because you showed up.
Is that the way you
showed up. You showed up, and so you voted for this one big ugly bill.
You can extend it right now.
A permanent extension of massive tax breaks for your billionaire donors.
Then Democrats went out and held, I thought, a great press conference in contrast to what MAGA Mike and the Republicans today, their talking point is Do you all know that young pregnant women, they get to reimburse the hospitals less than these like migrants do? Less than, I mean, it was just such a bizarre press conference that Republicans had. This was the Democratic press conference, though, on point, on the side of the American people. Watch what goes down as Democratic leader Jeffries says, our position is clear. The Affordable Care Act subsidies need to be extended permanently. We should help all Americans have health care the way Donald Trump is helping subsidize the lifestyles of his rich and shameless friends. Here, play this clip.
Our position that has been articulated in a bill that was introduced by Senator Patty Murray and Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro is a permanent extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits to match the permanent extension that Republicans on their own saw fit to do for the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected as part of the Republican continuing effort to subsidize the lifestyles of the rich and shameless.
More from Hakeem Jeffries right here, saying this is the second time it's been shut down under Donald Trump. He's nowhere to be found. He's out there golfing. Here, play this clip.
If we're going to get a resolution here, we need presidential leadership. That's what Donald Trump himself said 12 years ago in 2013. If a shutdown happens, the buck stops with the president. This is now the second time that the government has been shut down under Donald Trump, and he's in the Presidential Witness Protection Program. He's nowhere to be found. He's got time to be on the golf course, but apparently doesn't have time to sit down with Democrats in the House and the Senate to reopen the government.
Then we have Democratic Congressmember McGovern. Here's what he said. Let's play it.
I don't know if anyone else wanted to add. Yeah.
You know, Republicans love to advocate for more work requirements for poor people, people on SNAP, people on Medicaid. Well, I got an idea. Let's have a work requirement for Republicans to show up to Congress and do your goddamn job. I mean, millions of people are about to lose their health care. This is a serious crisis we're in, and we can avoid it. We can avoid people losing their health care, and we can keep the government open. They need to show up.
Back to Democratic leader Jeffries saying, Republicans are obviously trying to cover up the Epstein files right now. They know that Adelita Grijalva, Congresswoman-elect from Arizona's 7th Congressional District, would be the 218th signature on the discharge petition. Here, play this clip.
Will you call Speaker Johnson and implore him to swear in Adelita Grijalva?
We have made clear privately and publicly that Representative Adelita Grijalva should be sworn in immediately, without delay. Mike Johnson swore in 2 Republican members of Congress immediately after their April 1st special elections were concluded during a pro forma session when no one else was even around. And that was done by Republicans because they wanted to jam their one big ugly bill down the throats of the American people so they could rip away health care, steal food from children, and enact massive tax breaks for their billionaire donors. Republicans acted with great urgency to swear in 2 right-wing members of Congress to do in the American people in order to reward the wealthy, the well-off, and well-connected. But now, at this moment, Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva, who won by much wider margins than those 2 Republican members, there is no dispute or controversy relative to her election. And so many of us are asking the question, why the delay, Mike? What's the delay with respect to Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva? Does it have anything to do with Republicans' continuing effort to hide the Epstein files from the American people? Inquiring minds want to know.
You know what I love about fall? The smell of coffee that fills the kitchen before the day even starts. Whether it's that first warm mug in the morning or an afternoon iced coffee, because let's face it, for me, it's always iced coffee season. The best parts of fall all have one thing in common: They're better with coffee. With Trade, you could explore roasts that fit your taste, from rich and bold to smooth and nutty, and use them to make all your favorite fall coffee recipes at home. It's like having your own coffee shop, perfectly tailored to you. Trade is the #1 coffee destination in the US for both hot and cold coffee drinkers. They've sourced the best beans from over 50 top roasters across the country, and I can tell you from experience, the freshness is unreal. I just got a bag from Dune Coffee Roasters in Santa Barbara, an Ethiopian roast with these subtle fruit notes and floral aromatics. When I opened my mailbox, I could actually smell it. It was that fresh. I love that I never have to worry about running out or making a last-minute grocery run. Trade roast to order, ships it fresh, and even replaces your first bag for free until they get it just right. Right now, Trade is offering 50% off a 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/Meidas. That's drinktrade.com/MEIDAS to get 50% off 1 month. drinktrade.com/Meidas.
This is the fight that we wanted to see, right? Democratic leader Jeffries over here saying these extremists, these MAGA Republican extremists, they ain't even showing up for work. Let's play it.
Take it, bro.
Leader Jeffries, what do you make of Speaker Johnson canceling House sessions this week, and when will you call for the House? When do you think he will call for the House to return?
House Democrats were here last week. House Democrats are here this week. House Democrats will be here next week. House Republicans are on vacation right now. That's extraordinary. They canceled votes last week. House Republicans have canceled votes this week. We haven't been in session since September 19th. And on that day, Republicans got out of town before sundown, never to be seen again. As we approach the government shutdown and are now in day 8 of the Trump Republican shutdown. And these extremists don't even want to show up to work when they're requiring hardworking federal employees to show up to work without pay because of the Republican shutdown. And so we've repeatedly made clear, we will sit down as Democrats anytime, any place, anywhere, with anyone, our Republican colleagues, either here in the Congress or go back to the Oval Office to reopen the government, to enter into a spending agreement that actually makes life better for the American people and that addresses the Republican healthcare crisis.
Then you have Congressmember Ted Lieu. Here he goes.
Having served on active duty in the U.S. military, it is insane not to pay our troops. Some of them are in high-risk missions, and you want them thinking about whether they can get paid, whether they can care for their family. You don't want them focused on that. You want them focused on our national security. And this is going to affect our national security. House Democrats are here. Republicans are on vacation. They need to come back and work, and we need to pay our troops.
Here we have Congressman Aguilar. Let's play it.
Take, for example, Iowa's 1st Congressional District, represented by Congresswoman Mariannette Miller Meeks. This, by the way, is the same member who said she'll hold town halls when hell freezes over just this week. A 60-year-old couple earning $82,000 a year will see their annual premiums rise by 200%, $13,000 a year.
And here we have the Democratic whip, Congresswoman Clark. Let's play it.
And as I look in my district, as premium notices are coming out, a couple in Massachusetts that makes $88,000 a year is looking at having their premium doubled. If we go to Speaker Johnson's hometown of Benton, Louisiana, that same couple making $88,000 will see a tripling of their premium, 3 times. That could be around $23,000 a year for that couple to pay. People can't afford that. 60% of families in this country cannot meet the basics, cannot afford the basics for their family. And these sort of dramatic jumps in premiums are what is going to pull them under. So here we are, and we implore the Republican Party, go talk to your neighbors and hear their anxieties about what's happening to their health care, what's happening in your shutdown you're imposing on them, and get on a plane and come back to Washington and get to work in reopening this government and protecting health care and the American worker.
And what's MAGA Mike been doing? Oh, talking about how he doesn't like Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl and how Lee Greenwood should be the halftime show. Oh, MAGA Mike, you definitely know what the American people are thinking about MAGA Mike. Here, play this clip.
Any reaction to Bad Bunny being chosen as the Super Bowl halftime performance?
I didn't even know who Bad Bunny was, but it sounds like a terrible decision in my view from what I'm hearing. What's that?
How come?
Well, it sounds like he's not someone who appeals to a broader audience. And I think, there's so many eyes on the Super Bowl, a lot of young, impressionable children. And I think, in my view, you would have Lee Greenwood or role models doing that, not somebody like this.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And what are the American people thinking? Our friend Don Lemon interviewed Americans on the street to see how they feel about this shutdown. Play this clip.
Who's more responsible for the government shutdown, Democrats or Republicans?
Republicans.
Republicans, definitely, yeah.
Republicans.
Why is that?
They have the power.
Republicans!
Why so?
They control the House, the Senate, and the White House. Who else would be responsible?
I would assume the Republicans.
Republicans.
I think it's the Republican. One party is in control of all three branches of government, and I don't think that there's really any reasonable way to spin this as the Democrats' fault.
I would say Republicans. Republicans are good for one thing. Themselves.
I mean, with everything that's going on and everything that Trump does, I think we can.
And while this shutdown's taking place, folks, just know that $20 billion of your taxpayer money has now bailed out Donald Trump's MAGA puppet in Argentina, Javier Milei. And he took that money and he threw a rock show to celebrate his new book called, it's a new book, Construction of the Miracle, taking our taxpayer money, pyrotechnics everywhere, fireworks show in Argentina with our taxpayer dollars, as Donald Trump does not want to extend Affordable Care Act tax subsidies and rip away health care. How utterly despicable is that? Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.